Well, players have been spoken to by the respective managers and helped by the respective medical staffs. Liverpool still have one substitution up their sleeve. West Ham have to carry on with the 11 out there now. Brought on Collins, Moses and Carroll. Nil-nil after 90 minutes at Anfield. 1-1 after 90 minutes here at Upton Park. And Blackburn Rovers still don't know who they'll be facing a week on Sunday in round 5. Lucas first to it again.
Well, he may be a makeshift centre-back, but he's done a good job for his team. Lucas Leiva, positionally, he's also been aggressive. He's lost that header against Carroll there. But in the main, he's been a real example to some of the younger players around him.
Flag up against Benteke.
You imagine both sides will be looking to get it forward pretty quickly. Liverpool, because they've got 3 strikers on the field. And West Ham, because they've got Andy Carroll and players running off of him. Payet, Valencia, Moses.
Here's Cresswell. Noble. Got it quickly out to Victor Moses, but not really giving much of a chance.
There's Adrian. Surely Slaven Bilic wouldn't make a surprise decision and bring on a goalkeeper for the penalties.
I don't think you're allowed to when you've made 3 substitutions.
Oh, that's always a key moment.
But Stuart, just I think you're thinking along the lines that the authorities are as well, about going into extra time, that you should be able to have a 4th substitute used.
Yeah, you can understand why.
Not necessarily for goalkeepers and penalty shootouts, that is, but for the obviously the debilitating effect of the games are played at such pace these days, and the number of stoppages we had in the second half tells you that action comes at a price physically. Here's Payet, still going strong. Moses, blocked again by Lucas. Great positional sense.
Well, we haven't seen so much of in that second half. It's been Smith, the left back, in the first half. He was outstanding. In the second half, he wasn't able to get forward. Credit to West Ham and Bilic for stopping that happening.
Chirivella. We'd see a close-up before we saw Adrian of James Milner, who could be a candidate to come on for Liverpool. He's also a proven penalty taker. Chirivella. Klopp, learning about English football, was a bit surprised that the FA Cup did still have replays. Certainly up to the semi-final stage anyway.
Well, he probably didn't realise as many years ago they used to have 3 or 4 replays until one team won.
I covered a sequence between Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday that went to 5 games. And that was just the 3rd round, I think. We played another couple of rounds before that particular tie was finished.
Arsenal were also involved with Liverpool in the semi-final, which I think 4 games.
Ended at Coventry.
But it took its toll on Arsenal, who then lost against Valencia in European Cup Winners' Cup, and they also lost to West Ham in the Cup final.
Yeah, when West Ham were in the old 2nd division. The scorer of that goal is here tonight. Sir Trevor Brooking. Wasn't Sir Trevor then, of course.
As he'd tell everybody, it's about the only goal he ever scored with his head. One or two good moments, Daniel Sturridge, since he's been on.
Actually in the Chelsea squad, got a winner's medal when they beat Liverpool. Liverpool got to the final 4 years ago. Found by Sturridge. Found by Benteke. Now Divock Origi. Pulled away by Aaron Cresswell.
Lacked a bit of conviction, didn't it, from Origi? Good play by Sturridge and Benteke. And then when it went out to Origi, slowed it down. It was a wasteful cross.
Stewart. Quite a full debut this for Pedro Chirivella. It's a miscue by Stewart. Allowing Payet to get at Liverpool here. He's got runners. Moses is one. And in the end, the toe-in by Lori was just enough. There was no grabbing of a shirt that time.
Well, Smith did well as well. He came across, followed the run of Moses and just ushered him into Ilori. Smith may be struggling now. And there's your point about having extra substitutes. Yes, Liverpool's still got one left, but it takes its toll on players.
Especially those who don't play regularly with the first team in this kind of intensity. Corner for West Ham. Comes out to Cresswell. Relaxed and set as the ball dropped.
Just keep your eye on Brad Smith. Did so much running in that first half, breaking forward, getting crosses in. Now he's having to chase Moses back the other way. And a little look across to the bench. Klopp gives him a thumbs up. I think now the head shake that he's not going to be okay. And so it seemed by Jurgen Klopp.
Collins. Won it fairly. Payet. Valencia. Noble. So the diagonal ball to Cresswell. And then, backing up your earlier point, Payet hasn't been at his champagne best. Cresswell, no, wasn't going to take it over from Valencia. Payet, Noble, tries to whip it in and it's carried away by Mignolet. Reasonable height for the goalkeeper to deal with. Moses. Noble again. Headed out by Lucas. Benteke out to fought by Mark Noble. About half his size. In towards Carroll. And they did enough. Here's Cresswell. Good spell this for West Ham. Carroll wants it floated up to him, but it comes to him to boot level. Now Liverpool can break. Origi. And Antonio challenged there.
Well, he felt as though it was a great challenge. He slid and knocked the ball off Origi. It's obvious what Mark Noble was going to do. It's the only way he could get the shot in, but it's a nice height, but a good save, Mignolet.
Stewart. Benteke. 1-2 with Stewart. Sturridge is in the middle. Origi crosses towards Daniel Sturridge. Comes down for Benteke! Beat everything, including the post.
That ball was in the air for a long time. Lots of things will be going through his mind here. It's headed up into the air. He's just looking to make good contact. And he plays it past that near post. Just gets his body position wrong right at the end. That's a big miss for Benteke and a chance for him to certainly get the Liverpool fans on side.
Lucas making it his. Benteke still looking lively. And he's in here. This could be the moment for Christian Benteke. Great stop by Randolph. Keeps West Ham alive in front of their own fans in this fourth round replay.
What a chance, but what good goalkeeping as well. Front two linking up. It's a good pass, he's onside. Collins tries to read it. No, he runs too straight at the goalkeeper. If he moves the ball across, the goalkeeper has to change his position. A good save from Randolph. Benteke didn't do enough.
Carroll into Mignolet. Roger East doesn't stop it, maybe because Liverpool had the ball and had it for long. Ogbonna, Valencia. And it's West Ham's throw. And here is the last change for Jurgen Klopp. And it's James Milner. Maybe for Chirivella.
I was going to say, you'd imagine it would be for the young midfield player. So.
Payet. Moses almost got it back to the Frenchman. Here's Noble. Difficult pass. It wasn't quite the width that they wanted. Origi. He has been parked on the left side by Jurgen Klopp. Played by Lucas. Okay. 5 minutes left in the first period of extra time.
Well, they could have wrapped it up, couldn't they, Liverpool? With those two Benteke chances. One, a difficult technique, volley, dropping straight down to him. The other one he should do a lot better with. 1v1 against the goalkeeper, Randolph.
It's a rather weary challenge by Pedro Chirivella. And that's his last moment in the match, which he will remember for a long, long time. The teenager, he's done very well, Stuart.
He certainly has. He's never hidden from the ball. He's done some good defensive work as well. He's hardly given it away. He hasn't been dynamic, but he's certainly done a good job for his team. Should be proud of himself, the youngster.
James Milner, who was in Manchester City's FA Cup winning squad 5 years ago. Here's Payet. Carroll, who's very strong on his left foot. He uses it to pass rather than shoot. Benteke held off Ogbonna. Now a chance for Sturridge to sparkle. He's got Origi up with it. Tries to play Origi in. Retrieved by Stewart for Liverpool. Origi puts it past Antonio and hangs it up towards Benteke, who has been the main feature of this first period of extra time.
That's a great leap from him. Good bit of skill from Origi down the left-hand side. He's got to run at it here against Ogbonna. Just doesn't get the timing right, but Jurgen Klopp certainly pleased with his effort and determination there. But he mistimed the jump right at the last. It comes off the top of his head rather than his forehead.
Sturridge right to pass. Well, obviously it wasn't because it didn't work out, but
what he tried to do, he tried to get it tight to Antonio so that the ball, when it got through to Origi's next touch would have been in behind the fullback.
Nicely brought down by Carroll. Moses. The officials say it ran out. Off Victor Moses.
Hasn't really been able to have an impact on the game, has he, since he's been on? Victor Moses.
He's had some moves in his career, hasn't he? He's started at Crystal Palace as a youngster, then to Wigan, then to Chelsea, and loans from Chelsea, Stoke City last season, Liverpool prior to that, and now here at West Ham. He'll get the throw.
I saw him put in one of the best counter-attacking displays I'd seen for quite some while when he was playing for Wigan at Emirates Stadium. A game that Wigan beat Arsenal, and he was absolutely outstanding, Victor Moses. Never really recaptured that sort of quality.
That was judged by Obiang, captained by Antonio. There are some tired players in front of your eyes here.
It's often the case that extra time just drifts away and nobody really creates chances, but Liverpool have created chances. And they've all fallen for Benteke.
Well done by Valencia, headed on not by Moses, then by Carroll. Obiang meeting with Payet. The indefatigable Noble. West Ham getting players in the middle. And Payet. Decision is a corner.
Last chance in this first period of extra time. No added on time. Collins will be a target. Andy Carroll likewise.
Liverpool got the marking resources to deal with Carroll. Well, it doesn't get there just by weight of numbers. The white-shirted team deal with it. No change to the scoreline in the first period of extra time, but there easily could have been. 3 chances of varying difficulties for Christian Benteke. A volley wide, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, which is the best of the 3, and then a header that went over the bar. We go at 1-1 to the second period of extra time. Well, there was a piece of legislation that used to say turn straight round in the middle of extra time, but I think by just simple common practice the players and the management got that changed, because there was always a wish to have another huddle, another consultation. And bearing in mind we had 8 added minutes on the 90. We're well into the night here in East London. A bit of a pep talk from Adrian, who of course scored a penalty in a shootout as well as saving some not that long ago.
Have one side got the energy and desire to go and win this game in this next 15 minutes? I'm not sure it's anything tactically that's going to win the game. It's about concentration, somebody having that little bit of extra ability to get away from a marker and score a good goal. He's done everything he can now. Slaven Bilic. Can Andy Carroll do the job for West Ham?
We're underway in the second half of extra time. West Ham, if you've only recently joined us, West Ham scored late in the first half of regulation time, but conceded early in the second half. And it stayed at 1-1 till the 90-minute mark, and we've had 15 extra minutes so far, with it still unaltered on the scoreline.
He's certainly been a contender for man of the match, Lucas. He's been excellent for Liverpool. He's made the right decisions, when to squeeze up, when to drop off, when to go and attack the ball, when to cover round on his fullbacks. I think it would give Jurgen Klopp another choice at centre-back, should they require it in the Premier League.
Misdirected kick by Mignolet. The nearer we get to penalties, of course, the more the goalkeepers will come into focus. Liverpool in a shootout very recently to get to Wembley in the League Cup at the expense of Stoke City. They also started their League Cup campaign with a penalty shootout win, but both those were at Anfield, where the penalty takers with the most support tend to have better chances of scoring. You always feel it doesn't always work out that way.
If I remember rightly, the penalties were taken in towards the end where the Stoke supporters were.
You are right. Of course, memories coming flooding back for the West Ham fans who were down at the Millennium Stadium, and indeed the Liverpool supporters who were at that cup final in 2006. Went to penalties. It finished 3-3 in the end. Here's Obiang. Some of those players are coming back here, the West Ham players, to represent an all-star team on Easter Monday for Mark Noble's testimonial.
Well, I heard a player that played in that cup final talking about it being his best ever game. Somebody that you've commentated alongside on a few occasions, Dean Ashton.
Scored, of course, didn't he? And he is, although of course his career was cruelly cut short, he is going to pitch up for Mark Noble. So Dean Ashton fans can come and see him in action one more time on this ground. Here's Sturridge though. Oh, he is special, and that's why Liverpool have been so patient with him.
Well, West Ham back off, finds that bit of space here. Collins doesn't want to go to him. Benteke makes a diagonal run. I'm not sure it was the greatest run. He was running offside. What he can do is hit the ball so cleanly, Daniel Sturridge. Most players have to get the ball to the side, and that was right in front of him. He just hit through it. Couldn't keep it down.
Off Lucas. Hoisted by Kevin Stewart. Obiang. Here's Payet. Anyway, come and claim that. Try and get it forward towards Benteke. Held off Collins. Sturridge. Origi. Chances here for Liverpool. They're able to even work the goalkeeper, Divock Origi.
I'm not sure it's his best position out on the left wing. Just hasn't got the ability to go past Antonio here. Antonio just pushes him onto his left foot. It's good defending by the fullback. Origi didn't have the quality and never really looked like going past Antonio.
Player who's got a cup hat-trick already in his short career with Liverpool, and the League Cup at Southampton in that extraordinary 6-1 win.
He's a much better player when he's playing through the middle, but
as he was in that game, yeah.
Obviously with Sturridge and Benteke on the field as well. Somebody has to play out in a wide area. Origi is the player that's doing that.
And that was an impulsive challenge by Flanagan. It's left a little bit on Valencia. And it does give West Ham a chance at a reasonable angle. The ball into Andy Carroll territory again.
Laurie, the player that's marking him, that's just swapped over here.
Good work by Milner defensively, and Smith seems to have shrugged off that potential hamstring strain. Here's Sturridge. Slide it through for Origi. And then after West Ham were a bit lax, it's just not quite Benteke's night, but he's certainly played with more purpose, and
he's trying to wrap his foot round it. Comes off the outside of your boot. Daniel Sturridge has made a good little run. He's saying, I didn't see it.
But he looks happy with himself, and the general level of performance has been very good, but if they go out tonight, their missed chances will be held against them. As we said earlier in the Cup about delivering, not just playing well. Here's Carroll. Moses in the middle for Valencia and Payet too. Idris, I think, was trying to play an advantage.
It's Flanagan, I think, that made the challenge on Andy Carroll. Here it comes, he's just trying to kick the ball, and Andy Carroll nips it away from him, and the follow-through takes him into the big West Ham striker.
Test for officials as well as players. Extra time.
He's refereed the game quite well.
And a long throw, make the breakthrough. Not this time. Mindful that he was penalised in the Europa League earlier this season for holding on the ball, holding on to it too long, and the resultant free kick led to a goal against Liverpool. The sort of mistake you can be forgiven for making once but not twice. Moses forgiven for once because it's rarely penalised by officials, though it often happens. Here's Valencia making the angle better, taking too long. And who came out and blocked him, Stuart?
Lucas Leiva. Brilliant block. What a good bit of defending that was. Valencia had come in field, he'd wriggled away from a couple of challenges. There's the first one from Milner. Lucas Leiva throws himself at it, blocks it with his right thigh. He's been absolutely outstanding. A new lease of life for the Brazilian at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp.
More work for the medical men of the Hammers. As a former West Ham player, Stuart, and what do you make of the move to the Olympic Stadium? It makes great economic sense. Do you think it's the right thing for the club?
As you said, it's money-wise, it's the right thing for them to do. West Ham has got a great tradition here at the Bowling Ground, Upton Park. It's not quite the ground it once was.
Seen a good goal tonight, hasn't it?
It certainly has, but when you look at a lot of clubs have gone to different stadiums and done well, and it's soon forgotten about, and that's another good goal by Coutinho going underneath the wall. I think maybe in 10 years' time, nobody will be talking about it.
Well, the new grounds need to have a bit of history, don't they? And Arsenal, of course, haven't won the league since they left Highbury. They're in with a chance this season. Well, there's no more replacements allowed, and again we go back to that. I think it's on the statute book, so to speak, the gatherings of UEFA and FIFA about addressing the modern day extra time, really, where I know the pitches are better. It does allow the players to run further and maybe put extra strain and stress on muscles. It can be a real casualty corner playing these 15 minutes each way.
Well, I think if you've had 180 minutes of football and you can't separate the two teams, I'm not sure you need to go into extra time as well.
And of course it gives the advantage to the team that are home in the second game. They get an extra 30 minutes on their own ground, although it doesn't look too much of an advantage at the moment. West Ham might have to labour on with 10 here.
There he is, Sir Trevor Brooking. Famous for one or two wonderful goals for England, but also for that goal against Arsenal at Wembley for West Ham, when West Ham were a second division side, or in the second tier of English football.
The last time they won the FA Cup. Also won it in 1964 when Bobby Moore was the captain. In 1975. Collins, a piece of it, there was a push. Oh no, the flag's up. A bit of push by Carroll anyway.
There's the threat, ball into the box. Valencia's going to come back on.
Well, they've got an interesting issue here, because if he's on when the final whistle goes, he'll have to take a penalty should it get round to him. If he was to go off 15 seconds before the final whistle, then Liverpool would also only have 10 players. They'd have to tell one of their players that they wouldn't be involved in the shootout. I think there'd be a cue to be that one.
I don't think they'd see that as a punishment.
No. And remember, Stephen Taylor is still playing for Newcastle. was pretty much on one leg in an England under-21 semi-final in the UEFA Championship. Ended against the Dutch in Holland, and the Dutch were most insistent that Taylor took one, and he put his good foot through the ball and scored very gallantly. Cleared by Ogbonna. Carroll. Lucas has read it again, as he has done pretty much everything that's come his way. Now Sturridge, there's a scene set for him to be a part of a Liverpool winner here. Still Sturridge, still Sturridge. Again, another inkling of what all the fuss is about.
Really good play. Keeps finding that bit of space in behind Benteke. Goes past a couple of challenges, just tried to nutmeg the last defender, but he has looked sharp and bright since he's been on.
It's a Liverpool corner. Around 3 minutes left before we go to penalties. And Randolph, who's been excellent in both games in this fourth round tie, as well Valencia. Here's Milner. Getting closer, might be tempted to shoot here. Flanagan. Oh, and it was Sturridge trying to flick it in. There's another West Ham casualty.
Great block by Collins. Noble with the first challenge and stayed down. 2v1 on that far side. Sturridge is in the perfect position, and I think he makes good contact with it, but Collins just about got there.
Noble's got back up again. He's guarding the far post. Liverpool right at the last. Oh, there's space there for Flanagan.
Well, I don't think he could believe his luck as he went for that ball at the near post.
Another Liverpool corner. Right on it for Benteke to come in for. Cleared by Moses. And Valencia.
A couple of balls into the box. West Ham didn't defend it particularly well. Benteke won that last one.
Would you say over the 2 hours that probably Liverpool would have shaded it?
I think they've been the better quality side in terms of their passing, their movement. Since Daniel Sturridge has been on, they've also had that bit of individual quality. I think West Ham have huffed and puffed. They had that 10-minute spell at the end of the first half where they were more dominant. And I've been a little bit disappointed in the home side. We haven't seen anything of this man, Payet.
Not sure that actually went out before Payet grabbed it.
You know, we talked about Smith down this left-hand side for Liverpool and Cresswell down the left-hand side for West Ham. We've seen very little of that because West Ham haven't had good enough possession.
It's a push on Valencia. Is Lucas going to be punished for this in a way that it would be undeserving?
When you look at that, it's a great space to hit that ball somewhere between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot, with a bit of outswing for these players to attack. Liverpool players going back towards their own goal.
Dimitri Payet, of whom, quite rightly, a huge fuss has been made of here in his first season with West Ham. Collins is there, Ogbonna's there, Carroll's there. Oh, it's there! It is Ogbonna! West Ham have won it in the most dramatic fashion. The delivery was worth the wait. It hasn't been Payet's most profitable night, but he put it where Ogbonna came in, and the header was absolutely perfect.
What a leap from Ogbonna. Great delivery. Lucas, the man that gave the free kick away, and he's been outstanding. He can't believe it, but Ogbonna He couldn't get in the Juventus side for 3 or 4 seasons. Jumps early. What a header that is. He's up against Stewart, who doesn't jump. What a good header. Back across Mignolet. Nothing Mignolet couldn't come for it. Certainly couldn't save it. Big, big moment.
When it looked like West Ham were hanging on for penalties, Slaven Bilic has seen Angelo Ogbonna, the guardian angel for West Ham here, who's defended very well. There's still time to be played. Moses, you've just got to keep the ball, West Ham now. Might do more than that. Valencia. And he's saying, surely that was it. But the fact of the matter is that Jurgen Klopp knows, and it's so tough on Lucas. We almost spotted it up, didn't we, saying a little nudge in the back, and Payet's free kick was perfection, as was Ogbonna's header for his first West Ham goal, and what a time to get it.
He's had a good game as well, Ogbonna, not just the goal. He's been one of West Ham's better players. Showing good pace, he's got a good left foot. A lot of balls in the air. And he's going to be the match winner.
He has won the match for Slaven Bilic, who remembers his manners to observe the formalities with a stricken Jurgen Klopp. That won't help his recovery. But West Ham go to Blackburn in round 5. For the most part, Klopp's team were the better side, and Lucas was outstanding. But his little nudge to give away the free kick. Remember, Coutinho had equalised from a free kick after Antonio had scored just before half-time in the 90 minutes. But Ogbonna rose at the back post and planted in the header. The FA Cup, it rarely fails to deliver, Stuart.
Oh, it's been an excellent game. Both teams were tired in that second period of extra time, but that's the man that's won it for West Ham with the textbook header. Great determination, good technique, and a good delivery from Payet.
Well, we looked for Carroll, we looked for Collins, and maybe Liverpool did as well. And Ogbonna came in to steal the headlines. West Ham 2, Liverpool 1. Well, they talked beforehand, Liverpool's last ever visit to this stadium. Would it be West Ham's last cup tie if they went out tonight? That would surely be the case before they moved to the Olympic Stadium. And it was a night of drama, and to start with, Stuart, near misses.
Certainly was. O'Brien, who didn't expect to be in that position, he was just running back towards his own goal when the ball fell to Payet. Changed the direction of his run. It's a good effort, but it comes off Lucas and just beats Mignolet, but not the post.
Mistake by Winston Reid, who later went off injured. And Benteke, aware of Coutinho's position, able to find him with some clever footwork. And it was a